Greetings, fellow human beings, and welcome to another episode of The Roots Matter. This is the show on your YouTubers until I actually figure out how to stream to other platforms. We're going to get to that eventually. But this is a show where news, politics, secularism, and social justice collide. I am your host, and thank you for joining us. The POTUS aka Dear Leader, aka Taco Kankles McTaco Tits. Yeah, that's it. Kankles McTaco Tits decided to come on to our televisions and our other screens and say things. And so I got people to come here and talk about it with me. So tonight we're going to be talking about the 2026 State of Union address. We're going beyond the applause lines and the political theater to ask the real questions. What was true? What was spin? What does this speech actually tell us about the direction of the country? Because the State of the Union address isn't just a speech, it's a message about priorities, power, and who gets to left out of the story. And here on the Roots Matter, we believe those details, I don't know, matter. So, joining me today, this evening, even though that we are recording it during the day, but it will be played in the evening time, are my special guests. First, we have Ember, who is from the channel Better Than Ember, a sharp voice known for cutting through rhetoric and bringing a grounded, evidence-based perspective to today's political landscape. Ember always asks the question that many pundits avoid, that's rather, who does this policy actually help? We also have Helen Green, who is from the channel Free Thinker Fireside, who does commentary consistently connects with decisions of real world human impact. Helen brings a vital lens to these discussions, reminding us that we are behind every statistic and it's part of our community living with consequences. And then I also have my dear, dear executive producer, Infidel 64, a fearless critic of political and dogmatic narratives and ideological spin. Known for bringing context and unapologetic analysis, Infidel 64 helps us separate what's new from what's just recycled talking points. So let's get into it. Welcome again, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hey,
Hello,
Cynthia.
hello. We're still alive
Hello.
for
Yes,
now.
for now. Yeah. For
For
now.
now, I am. I I fear for my sanity,
Hmm.
but I'm amongst friends, so that's where I am right now.
Yes, I would definitely say that if, and for people who may ask, why is Helen asking or, fear for her sanity? Well, there's a myriad of reasons, but one of the main reasons is because since this particular airing, we, according to Dear Leader, are at war. If you are not living under a rock, we are currently at war with Iran. They
This was
they
not on my 2026 bingo card. This was
no,
Make
but
your bingo card.
yeah,
Was
you can do
mine.
the bingo card.
Yeah.
yeah, obviously. Thank you.
I mean, like if we were to actually say, was the writing on the wall for this? Yes, he did bomb, not bomb, but bomb Iran in the past, and there was teasing for weeks now that he was going to do it again, and this time that they did a coordinated strike with the nation of Israel to bomb a country that had no plans on attacking us, have nuclear weapons. And for the most part, the issues that they had, even though that I'm not going to say that their government is like, all lollipops, but their issues were insular. And it's not our fucking business to actually get involved with autonomous nations when they are going through their things, unless they want some type of help. But the Iranian people, even though that I've heard so many stories about, oh, they want us there. They were singing our praises. And I told them to take over the government because, child, let's get into this damn State of the Union address. Okay, because right now,
he's setting. Not only is he just making shit up, he's
yeah,
doubling down on a dangerous precedent, right? Like after
yes,
the Venezuela incident, the international community is like, you fool. You have just stated that in your eyes, it's acceptable for other nations to come and kidnap the head of state who
yes,
you believe is unstable and dangerous and so forth. That's you, bestie. You're
yeah.
telling the rest of the world it's okay for them to come kidnap you. And now he's just blowing them up. So what's that say to the rest of the world?
You know, okay, I'm just going to say this real fast.
Say it.
Weren't we supposed to be isolating? This seems the opposite.
Well, it's
isolating
for the interests of America first that we not pay attention to America, specifically what was said in the State of the Union. Or
that's true.
The other thing before that, you know, those Trumpenstein files, whatever those are called, like all the things. And this is the strategy. It's always been the strategy. It's the fire hose of bullshit attack. We need to keep throwing out more bullshit. It doesn't matter that it's bullshit. It just needs to be new so you forget about the last piece of bullshit.
Oh, without a doubt, there's definitely a sense of just overwhelming us with so much garbage day in and day out so that we can't keep up with everything. And this whole idea of going to Iran, well, let's be honest. Netanyahu's been screaming for this for 20 years. So it serves two purposes. It provides, probably closer to 30. It provides what his donors want him to do. A lot of his donors want this when we come down to the money. And it gets him points with Netanyahu. And, of course, he's hoping that we still will get bogged down in the Epstein files and forget about that rather than go ahead and move to the Epstein trials, which is really where we need to be at this point.
I agree. All this is a distraction. And matter of fact, this is coming directly from the Steve Bannon playbook to throw 100 things at you in one day so that you can only catch two. And that's what this is. I mean, like, even if we look at the Greater Israel Project that Netanyahu wants to do, he is up for corruption charges himself. And he's also been indicted by the ICC for war crimes. So, being able to engage in these, military actions is basically to say, look, they are squirrel, instead of like, let's not pay attention to what your lying eyes tell you. Right. So, speaking of lying eyes, let's go ahead and get into the shit. I brought you guys here for a reason. We're going to go ahead and do this. And I like to tell, even though that when you guys are watching this now, we're not going to be watching the full 1 hour and 48 minutes, whatever the fuck it is, because I did it for you already. And I don't know how I'm talking to you right now, because I sure did get a little dumber. No, a lot dumber after I was done with the damn thing. All I could do is just drink wine and go to bed. How about that? And we are going to just do clips today.
It's so draining. Okay, let's go. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I'm good. Everybody grab your emotional support stuffy.
We would not survive.
Yes. And I would just encourage all of our audience members, before we get into it, if you need to pause this video or what have you to go ahead and get whatever you need to get through the broadcast, please yabba dabba do that. I may pause my damn self and grab some wine, even though it is not even 2:00 yet here where I'm at, but who cares? This weekend.
Well, also let me say that I do apologize that I'm not able to provide barf bags for not only the participants, but the people watching. Apologize in advance.
Yes, we do. This write to at camglamming@gmail.com, and I will send you a complimentary Roots Matter barf bag because you got through the State of the Union address broadcast.
That's merch.
Yeah,
we have a merch idea.
Yeah, idea. And if you become a patron, that's going to be your thank you gift. I survived the State of the Union address.
Give me a badge. Give me one of your badges for your members.
Yeah, a badge and a barf bag. Exactly. All right.
Literal swag bag.
A literal swag bag. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Damn it. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. According to our president, we are winning.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Yeah. Yeah, enough of that. And then they like seal clap USA from there. Oh,
Forever. They went on for like 4 minutes.
They did.
You know,
They did.
It felt like I was watching, Dear Leader of North Korea, not Dear Leader of the United States. It really gave me that vibe. Because he was dragging them out. I mean, it was just him letting, and obviously they would have stood there for the rest of the night. They'd still be standing there clapping if he hadn't, all right, move on. It's like, what the hell?
It's such a wild thing. Like, he opens with, we're winning so much. We're winning in ways we've never won before. And then he brings out one gold medal team. Like, we've never won a gold medal before. Also, where's the girls team? What do you mean? Like, has no one else won a gold medal? Like,
you mean the women's team that he invited and they said, hell no, fuck you, 7 ways to Sunday? That women's team.
Hear that.
Yeah, there's that.
But like, holding up, yes, gold medal victory, hooray, patriotism, huzzah. But like, it's not like that's never been done before. And also, that's only one of the various medalists and so forth. Like, we've got so many medalists already, and it's incredible. But he's talking about like, this is the most winning ever, and it's a thing that's routine. Like, there's never an Olympics where the US doesn't take some of the gold medals,
It is so weird that like he's this grasping of fucking straws, anything like please don't look over here, please don't look over here, like, look, we're winning, look, we got the gold thing, we were like, well, other people did it, they did all the work, it's been years and years of training, but we all won together, so please look at them, that we're really good, we're so good, and you don't have to look at all the dark shit that I did. Allegedly.
The other thing was,
we had the greatest artists. Why, just the other day, my son Baron, he made me this macaroni portrait.
And the thing is that he talks about how we were so used to losing, we never won before, essentially saying that we all were a bunch of losers for the last 200 and something years till I came along. So then that makes the question, what America are you going back to make great? Not that I believe America ever was great, but if we were losers for 200 years, what are we going to again? I mean, you can't have both, but really when it comes down to it, when you're talking about this type of rhetoric and this type of bullshit, for the lack of a better way to put it, you're into some 1984 shit here. It really doesn't matter what reality is. Reality has literally no bearing on the story you spin. Because at this point, we have people who are saying, oh, no, he's not a pedophile. When, forget the Epstein files. Let's throw every single one of them away and pretend they don't exist for a minute. We got women who are up there and men saying, hey, I was molested. So why don't we start listening to them? They molested children. They said it from their own mouths. So what else he says, truth doesn't matter. It's not relevant.
Well, he did say one thing that's half true.
What's that?
His predecessor, not such a bad guy, but the president before that, worst fucking loser we've ever seen. Like, unreal.
Oh, God. Yeah, the guy before the guy before the guy. No, it was the guy, and then we had before the guy. And he wasn't that great of a guy, but he wasn't, but I would have to say, But he wasn't that guy. This
not
is
that
true.
guy.
Yeah.
He's not that guy. And then the guy before this last guy, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
It's basically what I'm saying right now.
It's the investment of diminishing returns. Like we keep investing in the system and thinking, which was made by people that came from a monarchy, doesn't really get changed a lot over time, or it takes a really long time for it to happen. Like amendments. The word amend is in the word in the title. So when you're living in that system, eventually you're going to eat your own asshole, and eventually power will tend to creep back up to the top.
Well,
because they have the mindset that we are the people that are supposed to have this thing because of reasons.
Helen, I have to push back because actually there's nothing wrong with eating an asshole. Matter of fact, it should be welcomed regardless of that.
Okay,
I get what you're saying.
Listen, I think, but like, I think there is more like, okay, I'll amend what I said. Like, you're smelling your own farts and telling yourself this smells like fucking roses. Okay, so if you could eat your own asshole, like that's some really impressive shit.
Man,
that's how he gets that makeup tone. He's figured out how.
Yeah.
He literally, we've been saying for decades, the president's got his head up his own ass all the time. Maybe this one does. Maybe that's where he keeps it when he's not, lying.
Explains the color.
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Makeup.
And usually if your shit's that color, like you should definitely see a proctologist.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We want this to happen naturally. I'm looking for that big, beautiful obituary.
Thank goodness.
I know. Oh my goodness.
Intelligent design my ass. Anyway, God, I'm sorry. I went off the rails.
It's okay. I'm going to bring us back because we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and round out to say I really don't know what the fuck we're winning, how we were losing, where we were winning. I mean, listen, the United States have gone through many ebbs and flows when it comes to events and how we have shown up in the world. And I would definitely say that there's a lot of times that we can point out that the United States, was not maybe feigning winning, but they did some really horrible shit, Imperialism is horrible. Colonialism is horrible. Slavery is horrible. Oppression of women is horrible. Being adverse to the LGBTQI plus community is horrible. And these are things that we can look at each portion of the United States on its timeline on when they've been overtly oppressive to different marginalized groups in this area, and also try to flex their might. Because, remember, we were under that time period that might makes right, and it seems like that we're back here again.
They never quite get away from that thought. It's I don't know, almost like it's some kind of gospel or something.
Funny.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Way off base. I gotta push back against Ember. Oh, wait, maybe not.
Well, let me push play on this next video that you all are going to see. This is starting with Representative Al Green. Shout out to Representative Al Green. I criticized him in the past with some things that I've heard him say, but when you show up right. And I have to give it to my mans. This is the second time that he gets kicked out of the State of the Union address. Everybody give it up for Al Green. My God. You know what? Infidel, I'm going to add, I'm right here, applause for Representative Al Green. Don't worry. Applause for Representative. Yes, we got that. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go there. Here we go.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number. And we will never go back to where we were, just a very...
Oh my God.
There's so much. First of all, can I just say,
What?
I mean, this is shocking.
What?
I don't know what to do with this information.
Clearly, they need a tariff.
Like I was saying that, they're doing the crime, and I was like, are you saying that they're being secretive about doing crime because they're like, why? Like that's what you do when you do crime.
What I started with is, are you telling me that these drug smugglers are not checking in with the federal government and reporting what they're importing? I'm shocked.
Well, I guess I'm just trying to avoid the tariff.
My flabbers are aghasted.
My pearls are my imaginary pearls are being clutched.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I should have known I was gonna need these.
Yes, thank you.
Now
thank you. You're a resident pearl clutcher.
Thank you.
Okay,
yes.
so
yes, thank you, Ember.
I like the thing is though, he just hears a statistic and if somebody says like, say this number about this, because he was coached this time. Oh my God. And it's so frustrating because every single time he talks, I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, who is buying this anymore? like, I'm sorry, motherfuckers. Like, if you are buying this, you have drank the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, you need help. You need professional help because everything he says is just bullshit.
It is. And Infidel, I think that you said that you wanted to put a cherry on top of that hole, you dig.
Yeah, well, no, I think that they just they're probably doing it to avoid the tariffs. Those drug dealers. The only reason they're not reporting it is, Trump will go ahead and put a tariff on them. But, seriously though, it really does. It's so utterly odd to me that, as Helen said, anyone believes anything that he says. I mean, it's to the point where if I was standing outside and it was raining and he said it was raining, I would almost be convinced that I was dry, because it's so consistent. But then again, I think that we're looking at a case where, as Ember slightly alluded to earlier about, the gospel, I think that, there's a lot of really bad beliefs hardwired in there that he is and the Republican Party in general has just hopped on top of, and they're riding it all the way to the fascist bank.
Man, listen, that part and then some.
D.
They riding the D.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, we are guys. We're sponsoring a fuck plane right now.
We really are, and it's not the Lolita Express.
Right, we're going to war. Apparently, instead of my money going to maybe, I don't know, government funded like vaccine program we used to have. I'm now playing for Kristi Noem and her weird fuck plane.
This
is a weird time, guys. This is a weird time. I don't understand.
There is a tweet that he put out in 2012. I'll make sure to add it, that that the previous POTUS was desperate and trust this POTUS that previous POTUS was going to bomb Iran because he was
the tan suit fellow.
Yeah, the tan suit guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was around the same time when Trump was saying only an idiot, a desperate fool would engage with Iran.
Yeah. That part. And then here we are. And
also,
then,
but hold on, he has said that he had obliterated Iran's nuclear program, that they had gotten all the spots. They were going to build those bombs. That his exact word was annihilated.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
So
listen, y'all. Yo. Let me tell you back to 2001, 2002. You ready?
Yep.
Mission accomplished.
I don't know what the mission was.
Listen, I got one more fact check, guys. I got one more fact check real quick about murder rates. You ready to hear about the murder rates? Okay, so Did murderers, ex-convicts, and mental institution patients immigrate to the U.S. under Biden? Trump said they poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. There were 11,888 murderers that came into their country. According to factcheck.com, that entire thing that was hurled out of his mouth to the American people, there is no evidence to support any of those claims.
So all of it was
Mhm.
false. Is it?
Yes.
You're saying that, in fact, one might even suspect, we can't prove, but one might suspect
Mhm.
everything he said was made up, perhaps even on the spot.
Bingo.
Hmm.
It could have been a made up point before he got to that spot. Regardless, it's made up. And let
Guys,
me also add one more thing concerning murder rates.
yes.
Murder rates across the nation have gone down. I know specifically here in the city. What about Chicago? What about Chicago? They're shooting everywhere in Chicago.
They're shooting
That
the cats.
they're
shooting
shooting the dogs. They're shooting them everywhere. They're just shooting them just because they can shoot them. And I'm the only one that can stop it. I'm the only one that actually can bring it to a halt in Chicago.
I mean,
sitting
I
in
mean,
the Federal Border
you
Patrol
know it,
agents in
Cynthia,
Chicago.
that like if you're a person of color and you just see a cat or a dog just standing there, you just shoot it. Them's the rules, I guess.
I mean, well, hey, according to the Department of Homeland Security chief, we're supposed to, like, shoot your puppy when they go out of when they don't go on the paper. But 30,
Right, yeah,
but actually in Chicago, that we are at a 30-year low when it comes to violent crimes and murder rates. And this is a trend that we see all across the country. A lot of it has to do with some of the introducing of different police activity and how they're actually dealing with the community, and also putting in other, programs for people so that they can actually, I don't know, have a job where they can make money legally without having to worry about doing any type of illicit activity, so that they can do things like, I don't know, fucking eat. Okay.
It helps.
I was
It's the thing that gets overlooked.
Yeah.
Whenever he talks about 2025, the murder rates are way down. It's not 2025 to 2024. It's
Right.
2025 to 2021. Because
Yes.
it's almost like the very second that fuckwit was out of office and we restored some sanity to our government, the murder rate went right off a cliff, and it's been falling ever since.
Yeah, and we can even point to specific policies that was enacted with the POTUS before this POTUS that actually helped the economy. That
The line is across multiple years. It
Yeah.
goes back to January 20th, 2021.
Exactly. I mean, like,
Enough.
we got the CHIPS Act that was bringing back manufacturing jobs. We had the infrastructure bill that was actually going to be pouring money into, like, building infrastructure, and that was going to bring jobs. We had more money that was going into educational universities like HBCUs. He keeps on saying, I saved the HBCUs. I saved them, just me alone. I did it. But when you look at even the previous president and the previous president, they actually put more money into HBCUs than this president before him and right now. Okay, stop fucking lying. Y'all ready
I
for the
don't
next
think
slide?
you can.
Damn.
I don't expect that.
Well, y'all ready
It
for
may kill him. Like, he can accidentally say something that's true, like 0 illegal border crossings.
Yeah.
Technically correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, I don't think he can outright say, like, this is why we can't have trials, because if you bring him into a courtroom, you put his hand on a Bible and say, state your name, it'll come out Zebulon Putinson, or you know, he cannot say something true ever.
Zebulon Putinson. You know what? I actually prefer that name.
Yeah.
More so than
I feel it fits more.
Yeah, I do too. But we got some more clips to get to, guys. So
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but that's what we're here. That's why we're here. Okay. We got
All
some
right, after this, I'm going to need some wine.
No. and I'm really okay. Okay, yeah, yes, we will break for wine. And you know, that part. Let's get into some chastisement to Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Let's go back to what we should be ashamed of ourselves
State of
about.
the Union is that it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
God, it goes on from there. Okay. It
Yeah,
goes
it's
on from there.
painful.
So yeah, she was he was basically coming after the Democrats because when he made that lovely statement about, you know, that we should be protecting citizens and not, you know, illegal aliens, the only people that stood up was the Republicans. No Democrat stood up. And then that's when we cut to Ilhan Omar screaming at him, "You have killed Americans. You have killed Americans."
Which is
All right,
factually
guys.
true. She's probably referring to the ICE incidents, the
Mhm.
good and pretty and all the others. But there's so many other
Yeah.
instances. But also the hypocrisy. Like y'all just mentioned earlier, he complains about drug lords and then pardoned the biggest drug lord. Like, what are we doing? It's just train seal behavior.
Every
The
day's
first
opposite day.
priority is wear a red tie,
Mm.
put on a red ball cap. Like, no, that's not actually the first priority. The first priority is to defend the fucking Constitution, because without that, you do not have a government. The
Yeah.
second priority is to defend the citizens, yes, but that end of sentence, a period goes there. Protect the citizens, and you're not doing that either. You're
No.
killing the citizens.
Yeah, and then lying about their whole reason for exercising their First Amendment rights, which is a right to it is a right to free speech. Ergo, you have a right to assemble. You have a right to protest when you are seeing things that you feel are wrong. And we know that Alex Petty and we know that Renee Good were murdered in real live 4K. And it was recorded and sent to all of us. And then they lied and said, oh, they were domestic terrorism, domestic terrorists. They were obstructing justice. They were
a man we saw be disarmed before they shot him.
Yeah.
While they're telling us simultaneously, they're trained SEALs, they're talking heads, they're saying, well, clearly he was a threat, as they're playing the video showing him being disarmed and then shot
10 times. 10 times. And we're looking at this.
And
yeah, go ahead, Ellen.
Well, and it is like, you know, the inmates have taken over the asylum, you know, It is, because everybody's like, okay, we kind of have to have a structure. We have to have rules, and sometimes like, we're going to make mistakes, but we have to have rules. And then there's a different set of rules now between, all of us and, a person who I never thought would have any sort of power if anyone had a fucking brain in their head. And I'm just in there going like, what happened? What happened? But he's in charge, and I keep telling myself, I'm like, I'm just surviving out of spite right now.
That's why we all
Fuck
do.
him. Like, you're interrupting my good time.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a few different ways to answer that, like on election night, there was all this speculation. Oh, Kamala should have come out against the genocide in Israel, or maybe she shouldn't have thrown every minority she could under the bus to appeal to the far right, or or the other side, oh, clearly, no one will vote for a woman or a Black woman or an Asian woman or whatever, and all of those things, all of them are partially true. But we've also got this organized 4chan meme lord political movement, which it's not nothing. I mean, they shot Charlie Kirk, like
we're going to get to that
that
clip too.
Fuentes' people, you know?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they do have some power, and there's this troll. We're gonna vote for the guy who will be the funniest from their point of view, and so there's that. And then election night, Trump gets on stage and goes, folks, it's a good thing we rigged the election, because that's the only reason I'm going to be your president.
Right. And it's like,
Elon rigged it. We set it up. That's the only way we won. Aren't you so lucky? On live television. And he said it 4 more times since then on live broadcasts. We rigged the election.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I mean, like, you guys, I don't know if you ever heard of investigative reporter named Greg Palast. I'm going to add his link into the show notes below, but he actually has did a pretty deep dive into the 2024 election, and he started to talk about all the tactics that were used in order to purge voter rolls in key states. How there were voter suppression tactics that were being utilized in order for them to silence Black voters. There were people who could call election boards and say that they were challenging a certain swath of people in order for when it comes to their ability to vote, and then they were just taken off. And we not even forget that other lady. Her name escapes me at the time, but she was blatant with her election subversion to the point where she got arrested in Arizona. So there were, and also there were fake electorates that they did this in 2020, but they just ramped it up in 2024, and people knew about this. And all this information and data are available for public use now they're doing it again. I mean, like, FBI specifically goes into an area in Georgia and in the Atlanta area where it got where there was a lot of organizing that happened in 2020 to get more Black people registered to vote, after a lot of them got thrown off of the voter rolls in Georgia specifically. Over 50,000 people when Brian Kemp was running, right? And now they have stolen data, voter roll data from that area, because they know that if Georgia specifically goes blue like it did in 2020, it's curtains. And he already know, because he said it out of his mouth. If the Democrats flip the House and the Senate, they're going to impeach me. And I'm like, yeah, as they should. You are literally wiping the Constitution paper on your pooed-filled ass, sir. What the fuck you are doing?
Well,
What's really weird to me isn't that Trump is incompetent or that the meme lords that are pulling the strings are evil or any of this other. It's the Republicans. They're terrified. Even Cancun Cruz said we're all screwed because as soon as the midterms happen, we're all losing power. They're going to impeach everybody. Yes, absolutely. But here's the thing. It's coming, even if you have no principles except self-preservation. It's coming. So why the fuck aren't the Republicans getting ahead of it and impeaching him first and saying, look, we actually do have integrity. We took him out.
Because they don't, because the Republican Party is no longer the grand old party. It's Trump's, it's MAGA. It's MAGA.
And see,
no interest in self-preservation. They're just all going to be martyrs, I guess, so that in 2032 or what the fuck ever, they can be like, oh, we were all persecuted, we were all driven out, it's unfair, fake news.
And with this rollout of them trying to use AI, for to
nothing is real now.
Help them with the war, I guess. But then the Pentagon was like, well, the people that are actually doing the programming, they told us like we're not to use it. It's put into the system, but like Pete Hegseth's over here going like, no, you need to utilize this.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, listen, we're just training ChatGPT not to tell people to unalive themselves. So can we do the minor stuff first? Because I don't trust that thing. Any AI to make decisions for human beings.
Well, go ahead, Infidel.
One problem that I see is that those Republicans that lack spines and intestinal fortitude. The problem is that we're going to need some of them after 2026 for an impeachment to succeed through the Senate, because there's just not enough votes. Even if every seat went the way, if we turned over a bunch of seats, Republican seats, it still wouldn't be enough to get to 60. And so that's a real problem. And right now, there just isn't anyone on the Republican side in the Senate who has shown any indication that they're willing to say, yeah, fuck this guy. And that's what has to happen. And I think that at the end of the day, we're going to see him impeached. We're going to see another drawn out impeachment process, and then ultimately another one he survives. So he gets to hold the record for 3. Because at the end of this day, I just don't see anyone in the Republican Party actually stepping up, because as you said, anyone that was the old country club Republicans of the past, they're gone. The Mitt Romneys of the party.
My dad would be appalled. My dad was a lifelong Republican. He would be appalled.
As would my dad.
I've said this before. He didn't vote in 2020. He didn't vote for Trump. He voted for Biden. And I was wow.
My
dad voted Trump in the 80s.
Let's keep it a buck, y'all. Biden is Republican light. Let's keep it a buck.
Of course.
The Democrats, all the Democrats are where the Republicans were in 1982.
Yes.
They are the Republicans now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the problem.
No Democrats.
Yes, because what we've done is that we've continued to see the Republican Party lurch right. And as they do that, they're telling the Democrats, okay, meet us in the middle. Well, whatever's the middle, as they continue to lurch right, the left, the Democrats are rolling right along that way too. Because as you said, there is no Democratic Party. And let me say one thing. If any Democrats listening, and all these Democrats who tell me, you know what, you threw away your vote by writing in Cornel West, and you should have voted for Harris. Well, you know what? I don't vote for genocide. But if you think that people like me cost you the election, well, then get me somebody. I'm not looking for a purist candidate. I'm not looking for a perfect candidate, but pick somebody who first doesn't support genocide. And then we'll start from there. To me, I thought that was a rather low bar, but I used to think that everyone could agree that we shouldn't support pedophiles. But that was an even lower bar, but obviously we're wrong on that too. So when it comes down to it, look, yeah, you know what? If I cost you the election, well, then listen to me and recognize that in 2028, you need somebody who's different. You need to give the people a choice, not the same old Republican light. Give us a progressive. Give us somebody who's anti-genocide, who actually says the things, because MAGA likes a lot of those things. They're just too stupid to realize it. They support universal health care. They
Yes.
support a lot of these social programs that they're dependent on too. They're in the poor states. They're
I
cutting themselves off.
listen. Before I go to the next clip, I'm about to tell all the Democrats how do you win your seats come 2028. Okay. First off, one of the things that messed with Harris, and she even said it in her books, is that she did not break away cleanly from Biden's policies. She didn't support what Israel was doing either, and she did actually say that what was happening to the Palestinians was genocide. The problem with her is that she thought that she had to listen to the establishment Democrat, old guard to tell her how to run her campaign, and this is how you're going to beat Trump. But no, no, honey, this is not how to do it. I'm about to tell you how to do it. Universal health care. Okay. That polls very high and it's cheaper than what the fuck we got right now. Bring back an actual what the infrastructure bill was supposed to be, the Build Back Better bill. That's what we really need. You gutted that. It had some good shit in it, but the things that were in there previously that actually, supported green new energy and actually building that particular economic base in order to create new jobs, that's what you do. Actually support the Department of Education and get rid of student debt. A lot of us are drowning out here who actually, and the main reason why we have student debt is because you didn't want to educate Black people. Keep it a buck. And also stop aiding and abetting a nation that is engaged in genocide. Cut off the money, cut off the weapons to Israel. Saying that is not anti Semitic. Saying that means that you don't support people being unalived because Netanyahu wants to compare them to Amalek. And if you don't know what Amalek is, read your fucking Bible. All right, let's talk about Charlie Kirk. Ready?
Do we have to?
Oh, can I get wine first?
Yes. Everybody, we're gonna pause right here. We're gonna put in a commercial. I don't know. And everybody get wine. Be right back.
I'll be right back.
And we're back.
And we're
And we're back.
We're going to again watch Trump try to explain the way the deep dark abyss where his soul should be. So
exactly,
we're gonna do that. That's what we're doing.
Right? Like just before the break, you mentioned Charlie Kirk, and this is interesting because he starts off the speech with we're winning like never before. There, you've never seen so much winning, and now we're going to talk about how our own leaders are being offed by the partisans on their own side. Winning though. Murder rates are lower than ever. It's really only, the podcasters and apparently there was a third attempt against Trump himself a week or two ago.
Yes, it was.
Another Republican fundamentalist.
Yep.
Why is it the gun nuts who are taking shots at their leaders? What's going on?
Well, let's hear what he got to say about it. You ready? Here we go.
I'm proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man.
Gavin Newsom's best friend too, I noticed.
So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
Awkward.
Thank you.
It's just weird.
Right.
This is weird.
In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. Proud to say that during my time in office, both
You know, when he said we got to be one nation under God, I was about to say, one nation under a groove. Okay. Getting down just for the funk of it. Okay.
Well, one thing I have to say is that starting with Erica Kirk, she reminded me of what I would expect one of those advanced robots we see from Japan, the Japanese robots that.
Oh, she does have a Stepford wife vibe
She
going.
does.
on.
Like,
It happened to
It's
be
so
Miller.
utterly
It's
bizarre.
really
It's like,
this
okay, wait 3
instant-
seconds, do this.
I told you, Len. I told you it's the lizard people in their skin suits. They just nod along, and they're like, "This is how human beings behave."
That's
And
a whole
also,
thing.
let me
It's
say, look,
wild that
Yeah.
he condemns political violence of all
Right.
kinds.
And that was the
days
thing, I was like-
before engaging in political violence.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
that part.
you have people on the street just shooting protesters, just because they're inconvenienced, and I think also too, like, everybody knows, like, this is like everybody's got a fucking camera and everybody's a witness, and everybody's gonna go, I am sorry for having eyes.
Man.
And
that too,
we, and
but I was
when you're
talking
sitting there
about
just
Iran.
spilling out bullshit.
well, first, there's no
Sorry,
getting
Ember.
around the fact that Charlie Kirk, being the terrible human being he was, and I'll admit, I shared some Charlie Kirk memes because I found him humorous, because I'm an insensitive enough person to do that.
You
But
love
having said
gallows
that,
humor.
Yes, exactly. But the truth is that really nobody deserves to get shot like that. That's really not the way we really should handle things like that. But at the same time, when you live a life promoting the type of things, I'm going to quote it the Bible: you live by the sword, you die by the sword. He promoted hate. He pushed that hate. He peddled that hate and made profit off of it. So if that ended up costing him his life, he earned it. And especially with the things he said about the Second Amendment with children in this school, I
Yeah.
just don't feel it. And having
Oh,
said that,
I have the quote. He said, I think Charlie Kirk, the martyr, said it's worth it. It's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That's a prudent deal. It is rational. He said that at a TPUSA event on stage.
you're welcome,
Which is-
Charlie Kirk. You got to die for what you said was important.
listen,
You died for the Second
He
Amendment.
literally died for what he lied about, because it's rhetoric. It's just
Yeah.
propaganda. It's a false
Yeah.
dichotomy. You can have the Second Amendment and all the other rights and not have rashes of gun violence. We did that in this country for almost 200 years. What changed, I wonder, but that's a topic for another time.
Listen,
He-
yeah, that's a whole nother show.
Died
Mhm.
standing up or sitting down for what he believed in, because he didn't really believe in things, but that's not here nor there. He died in a way that he himself said was morally not only acceptable but required. It's necessary for there to be some deaths
Because
by
of our
gun
God.
to ensure our other rights.
Because
And he
of
did
Jesus.
it doing what he loved, lying about minorities.
Yes, not to
Yeah.
say that
Yeah.
he said shitty things about Martin Luther King. He also said shitty things about, Black women that had like positions in power. Not only saying shitty things about, oh, if my plane, that the plane that I was on had a Black pilot, I sure would be concerned if they were qualified, because DEI.
And also he supports women. Listen, everybody. Charlie Kirk said that the only way women can be happy if their natural thing to do is to get married and have children.
Yes.
All women. So that's his perspective. And also on the younger side, because this way you have more time to reproduce.
Yes.
And it's like, what the fuck, man?
Yes, exactly. We prefer you to be young. Basically, you need to be young, dumb, and full of cum. Married.
Yep, basically, yes.
Married. Okay.
He said a lot of horrible things, but there's a bigger lesson behind Charlie Kirk. And I think this is the reason they keep making such a big deal out of it, because there's that subtext. He was killed by another right winger. And the people who keep trying for Trump are also right wingers. And the people doing the violence in the street who are shooting the citizens are the right wingers. He's focusing on Charlie Kirk to convey. He probably may not be aware of it, but his speechwriters sure as hell are. And they're making sure that message is front and center. While the Democrats may disagree with you, if you get out of line, we, the right wing, will fucking kill you. So it's my ring.
I would say, like, for his the person who unalived Charlie Kirk, it is documented that his family are right wingers. The other guy, not, it's nebulous, right? Because of all the different things that have came out after, Charlie Kirk got killed. Regardless, this is the environment that he was brought up in. He was brought up in an environment of right-wing conservative values, all this other bullshit, God and country, whatever, And this is a person that ended up taking him out. Okay. The main people who said that, we have to protect our God-given rights when it comes to the whole thing about the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment protections is something that, ended up taking him out. And then, fast forward to, I know that you were, Ember, talking about political violence when we were talking about bombing Iran. But, we also think about the political violence that ISIS actually done to American citizens, like Ilhan Omar actually, mentioned you killed American citizens, you killed Americans, with Alex Pretty and also Renee Good. Keith Porter, let's not forget Keith Porter and other Americans that have been detained by ICE and have violence wrought against them and things of that nature. There's so many names, we'll be here all night, right?
Right. Violence have to mean killed. Violence is violence done to. For so many of these issues, we focus only on deaths. Like, when we talk about certain issues, we're like, oh, what are the suicide rates? What are the murder rates? Well, there's other kinds of violence.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, and the violence that was brought against that young man in Chicago, on the southeast side of Chicago, where I'm from, where he was detained by ICE for hours, wrestled down to the ground, ran out of a Walgreens just because he was scared that ICE was there in the first place. And he's like, why did you run? Fuck you mean, why did I run? He was a fucking U.S. citizen. I mean, like, and then people are like, well, that's an antidote. I said, well, there's too fucking many antidotes of things like that happening.
Like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I have eyes. It is, and the basic denial of reality is kind of like the frustrating part, because you are also, they're shooting themselves in the foot. I'm sorry, because guess what? There's only so much, people will stand for before the guillotines and, pitchforks come out, because there will be a transition where we're going to be like this. No. And over 300 million people, you're going to get everybody.
Jeez. Guys,
good luck.
I mean, hey, what happened to Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette when they were screaming, let them eat cake? Just saying. Okay, guys, couple more. We got one more clip that we need to get through, and we got to talk about the hottest country. We are in the hottest country, and our economy says so. Let's go.
Oh, I thought you meant climate change.
No, there is no such thing as climate change. Helen, how dare you?
I'm sorry.
Lies of the devil.
Lies.
Lies of the devil.
Get you behind, Satan. Don't let me call Bob Larson on your ass.
I know. I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I listened to scientists. I'll stop that now.
How dare you? How dare you? Come go exercise that climate, let that climate change demon out of you. Ho sha ta ta
Right.
ta. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record
The
highs since the
Dow.
election. Think of that.
The
1 year.
Dow.
50,000.
Boosting
The
pensions,
Dow.
401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
Oh.
Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes.
I lost the plot.
Listen, I just want to tell everybody the only reason why I was smiling is because I agreed with him. I just smiled because just can't believe how blatantly one person can lie in a couple of breaths. What do you got thoughts, Pam?
Being
Difference the
rich
president makes.
is the value we want. I caught that. Like being rich is the value.
Mhm.
That's what they're looking for.
Feeling like you're rich.
Yeah.
is the
Feeling
value,
like
not
you're rich.
actually
Yeah.
being rich.
Yeah.
Right.
But like just to look at the Dow, for example, because they love the Dow so very, very much, right?
They
Like
do.
that's
They do. It's the
criminal.
best thing ever.
1,000. Except as we record right now, the Dow is at 48,997, which makes it the second lowest it's been this entire presidency, the exception being Inauguration Day.
Mm.
It was slightly lower.
Weird that.
Mm.
You know, the thing that gets me is that, and I know that there's been a talk about affordability, and I know that's what he's trying to address here. You can lie to people and say, we're going to fix the potholes in your street. We're going to fix the bridges. We're going to make the roads better. And people will put up with that because most of the time they expect politicians to lie. I mean, it's pretty much par for the course. But when you get to the point where you're talking about basics, when you're talking about the food's going to be cheap, and we're talking about people who've never had to face food insecurity before, who are now facing it, because that's where we're heading. I mean, you can't have, say, beef prices what they are now, and a lot of these prices where they're sitting. I mean, in October, I went from feeding the 3 of us to feeding 6 of us. And so I got to admit, I was pretty damn lazy when it came down to budgeting. In fact, I wasn't budgeting at all. It's like, what does my mouth want? But when you double it to 6 and you start paying a little more attention, you're like, damn. And I think that this is a conversation and a thing that a lot of people are looking at when they're going to grocery stores and these type of things. And I just don't, I drove on my way to the grocery store. I saw gas at $2.79 here. I just don't think people are going to go, oh, well, the president said $1.88. Let me pull in and
Even though
by faith, I'm going to fill my tank on $1.88. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The sign must be wrong. The president said.
Yes.
You're gonna argue with the clerk. Same thing with food, like you were saying. Like, he can say food prices are down, even though his own internal departments say that's not true. And in fact, inflation went up more the last quarter of 2025 to the highest level it's been. But not important. People, they can believe the lies or not, but they go into the grocery store and they see that a loaf of bread costs twice what it does 2 years ago. That you still, eggs are slightly down from their peak because we stopped having to kill off all the chickens to prevent the plague, but they're nowhere near where they were under Biden. Like, a similar boat to you, for the last 9-ish months or so, I've had no income effectively. I'm on a budget of $5 a day for food. And that's just too slow going bankrupt. It's not. So I go to the store and I'm like, okay, I can afford peanut butter sandwiches, but I can't afford peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anymore.
That's a luxury. That is a luxury. Yeah.
People can see they whether they either end up with a higher grocery bill. I want to get a salad. Oh, it's $2.14, but last year it was $1.25 for the same salad. Like, they know. You can't lie to them about what they know.
And the thing else was fucked up is that we have to eat. We have to eat. And I'm like, okay, well, then we're talking about the haves and the have-nots again. And I really don't want to do that when it comes to hunger, because we talk about food waste and a whole bunch of other fucking conversations. But my problem, like, when he stands there and starts saying, like,
one or the other.
We're gonna be eating bread.
I'm like, it's working. Yeah, it's working for you because you're getting everything you want, because you're up there just spitting out rhetoric, and the people that haven't realized they're in a cult, just swallow it. Even though when they're confronted with two opposing ideas, they will still try to find a way, to do the mental gymnastics. And it's kind of amazing, especially watching it in real time.
Man, well, I got some fact checking if anybody is interested.
Well, let me say one thing,
go ahead.
And Helen, I think you're dead right, and that really boils down to, the bottom line is that you can lie however you want, but I'm not in the poorest family in the country, and I'm buying whole chickens and breaking them apart myself, because I used to be lazy and pay $2 a pound for the pieces I wanted, but now I'm looking at it and going, oh my God, $5 a pound for a piece of chicken. I used to not pay that for beef. I just don't think people are going to buy that, because they're going to have to make very hard decisions. Like, Ember, you were talking about, I can afford peanut butter, but I can't afford jelly. I mean, we're literally talking about families having to make these type of decisions. And food insecurity always was a problem. But if you thought it was a problem now, because all these people talk about these people getting rich off TANF and SNAP and whatever else they may be getting. Look, if you're getting TANF and SNAP, you're broke as hell. I mean, I don't know how a person lives getting TANF and SNAP. I literally don't know.
I'm still on TANF here for my mental health care, because I went on it when I was less financially secure, and I was just grandfathered in. But it's great, because if for some reason I'm not able to work, I could just use them to get my medications. And it's like the same price.
Well,
and I'm like, that's what we need, a place for people if we're going to do an insurance basis, maybe we can do a transition. I don't fucking know.
Listen, Helen, obviously you're a welfare queen and you need to go ahead and own it.
I did.
So listen, okay. So one of the things that was not in that clip is one of the things that, Trump said, where he lifted 2.2 million people off of SNAP benefits, which I literally barfed in my mouth. There was no lifting. You
I'm
kicked
sorry, I
them
made a gross
off.
Yep.
face.
Yeah, you
Yep.
kicked them off with your big, gross, disgusting, beautiful, unbeautiful, ugly bullshit bill. You kicked over
Seniors.
you kicked seniors off of
Seniors.
Snap. You kicked you kicked children off of
Yep.
Snap. You kicked marginalized groups off of Snap. You kicked historically close
He kicked
to
his own voters off of
you
Snap.
kicked your bone voters off of fucking Snap. That's what you fucking did, you piece. You know what? Okay, let's get to the fact checking. Oh my fucking god, guys. Oh
I'm
goodness.
so like there's this thing about like I remember back in the 80s when during the Satanic Panic there like people were blaming like Judas Priest and Ozzy Osbourne for people unaliving themselves, and then I think like it was Ron I think the lead singer of Judas Priest, or it was Ozzy, said, "Why would we want our like fans to unalive themselves? Because if we do that, they won't buy our stuff." And I'm like, "Listen, Republicans, it's like, what are you doing? What?"
Well, okay, so to his thing that he said about the turnaround for ages. Trump said when I last spoke at this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy. Inflation was at record levels. Now, this is what NPR has said concerning his statement. The US economy was in solid shape before President Trump returned to the White House for his second term. In fact, in October 2024, The Economist had labeled the US economy the envy of the world because it had bounced back from the pandemic's recession in a stronger shape than most of its peers. To be sure, many Americans were frustrated with the high cost of living, and that dissatisfaction contributed to Trump's victory the following month. However, costs have continued to climb over the last year, and that dissatisfaction is now weighing on Trump's own approval ratings. Nearly 6 in 10 Americans say the country is worse off now than it was a year ago. And yeah, and here's another point that they made. Trump says the Biden administration and his allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country, but in 12 months, my administration has driven the core inflation down to its lowest level more than 5 years, and in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. According to NPR, inflation has cooled in recent months, but the cost of living is still climbing faster than most people would like. A few items have gotten cheaper in the last year, such as gasoline, eggs, but housing, groceries, electricity, and natural gas have all gotten more expensive. Inflation reached a four decade high of 9.1% in 2022 after Russia's invasion of Ukraine sent prices soaring around the world. By the time President Joe Biden left office, inflation had fallen to 3%. It dropped as low as 2.3% last April before rebounding to 3% in September. Trump's tariffs have raised the price of some imported goods, but the effects on overall cost of living have been limited. Annual inflation dipped to 2.4% in January, a separate measure of inflation, which is closely watched by the Federal Reserve, shows that prices are still climbing at the roughly same rate as they were a year before. And this is the whole thing about the stock market thingy. So the stock market, he said, has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year, boosting pensions, 401ks, yada, yada, yada. Now, this is what NPR said. The stock market has enjoyed big gains over the last year with the the Dow, topping $50,000 for the first time earlier this month. In 2025, the S&P 500 index jumped to 18% after 24% gain in 2024. The stock market rally has given a boost to many people's retirement savings. It's important to remember, however, that stock ownership is very concentrated. You don't fucking say. The richest 10% of families own 87% of all stock market wealth, while half of all Americans own little to no stock. So that's telling me that if you are not a person that's trading on the S&P, on the Dow, on the, on the Nasdaq or whatever the fuck you talking about, what the stock market does is going to mean little to nothing to you, because that's not going to affect your everyday life when it comes to purchasing items. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention about gasoline prices, and this is from factcheck.org. So Trump continued to make false claims about gasoline prices, saying gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, was quite honestly a disaster, is now below 2.230 a gallon in most states. And in some states, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I saw that $1.85 a gallon was for gasoline. As of February 24th, there was no U.S. states where the average price of a gallon of regular gasoline was below $2.30, according to state price data from AAA. Oklahoma was the closest to that figure, with the average price of being $2.37. That also means there are no states with the average price below $2 a gallon. In Iowa, the state Trump mentioned, the average statewide price was $2.55 at the same time of his remarks. Patrick Dahan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, told us for a February 19th story that as of February 14th, there was about 40 stations in the nation, 40 stations in the nation with gasoline below $2 a gallon, which is what we've generally seen on the daily basis for February thus far. 40 stations out of 50 states, okay? In a February 24th post on Substack, he wrote that as of that date, $2.69 was the most common price being charged at stations nationwide. Nationwide gas prices are roughly 17 cents or 5% lower than they were when Trump took office. As of the week of February 23rd, the average price in the United States for a gallon of regular gasoline was at $2.94, according to the Energy Information Administration.
You could
Never
have just
seen the
summed that up
president
and just
lie.
had the.
Never
I
seen
was
something
thinking, yeah, what you need is like a little sound clip from back in the 90s when Maury was on, and a lie detector test determined that is a lie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
It is. It's one of those things that I keep like. The Emperor has no clothes. I'm like, he's getting parts where the Emperor has no skin. Like, I'm just like there we have hit the bottom. And nope, we haven't, because there's gonna be more shit that's gonna come out. And this is the thing. Like he said that when Prince Andrew was arrested, he's like, well, if they can do it to a prince, like, what's the point of being king? So he said the quiet part out loud, everybody. And we're looking at someone that thinks if he gets absolute power, even in his dementia-riddled brain, that somehow he will never be held accountable. And so far, I'm not feeling super great about how his party is reacting to things, because I'm over here going, you cannot say you are the party of the family. If we care about children, we care about the next generation, blah blah. Our children are our most precious commodity. Okay, well, you cut programs for them.
Cut child cancer. You cut
research,
food assistance. You cut money towards education that actually will fund some of these social safety net programs for kids. But who's counting?
Who's paying attention?
I think that they may have a point with the party of the family thing, Helen. I've got to say, and maybe it's party of the party that wants the kids to have their families. Because they seem to be into kids.
Oh, you mean
Yeah, that part.
have
Yeah.
I mean,
kids? Like
yes.
if you're a 13-year-old, you can't have an abortion. That
Yes.
you know you're abused by your
but-
uncle or your
but you
priest.
can-
You can't have an abortion.
But you can have a Republican's kid. I mean, obviously, that's okay.
Well, then you'll be unalived in New Mexico, according to Epstein people. Oh God, guys.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, and
We know.
I wish this
we
was
do know
hyperbole. I
where-
really wish it was.
We
Go
do
ahead,
know where the
Amber.
hallucination
Go
of
ahead,
the $1.88, $1.86, whatever the fuck it was, came from.
Mm-mm.
He did actually go to Iowa the last week in January, where he spoke in Des Moines about the fate of the economy for the Iowans. And because he was an Iowan, it's a big corn state, he spoke a little bit about ethanol fuels. And it
Yeah.
turns out that the pre-tax price of ethanol fuels in Iowa is about $1.88. Pre-tax.
Pre-tax.
No.
And Ember, can you fact check if every car that's in the United States can run on ethanol?
My data is saying fuck no. In fact, we're kind of moving away from that.
Yeah.
Weirdly. But his whole thing is, all this beautiful corn, we're gonna make all the ethanol, we're gonna fill the whole nation with
all
this
the
beautiful,
ethanol,
renewable ethanol.
all
Does
the
he know? Does he know how that works?
No.
Yeah. All right.
He doesn't know how
never
anything
driven a
works.
car in his life.
He
He
does.
doesn't have any idea how fuel works.
Listen, guys, I'm going to round out because like I said, like we've been recording for quite some time and I don't want to keep you guys away from your Sunday too long. He said, use anecdotes in order for him to demonize immigrants because that's what he does, including utilizing the Delilah law, saying that an illegal immigrant actually was granted a commercial license in the United States in order for him to operate. I just like to let everyone know that that's a lie. You cannot be an illegal undocumented immigrant and get a CDL license in the United States. You just can't do it. There are some states that actually have granted the access. There's some states that actually granted the access to driver's license that are non-commercial. But if you want to actually have a commercial license where you can be hired by a conglomerate or even own your own and operate your own trucking in order for you, or to drive a bus or anything like that, you cannot get a CDL license if you are not a legal resident or a United States citizen. That is a fucking lie. And also he said
I used to work for a company that did those for temporary workers when they were getting out of jail.
temporary,
And so,
but temporary workers are not illegal immigrants.
no, they're not.
Right.
But the thing is,
You
though,
have to have-
they would apply for jobs, and during
Mhm.
that time, they could work for 30 days. And then after those 30 days, if they didn't have their papers or whatever, we would have to fire them.
Yeah.
And these were day people that made like $11 to be on a truck, a garbage truck all day. And mind you, it's 95 degrees in the summer in Florida.
Right. I mean,
This is
that's
the
what I'm
type of
saying.
people- this is what's
But
happening.
but even if you can say those particular cases, those are temporary workers. They have temporary protected status in the
Yep.
United States. They are not illegal immigrants.
Right.
It is that is a bullshit claim. They also, made these wild claims concerning the SAVE Act and how it's supposed to actually, protect the integrity of the United States voting system. That was a lie. The SAVE Act actually makes it more difficult for people, especially citizens, to be able to vote, especially if you are a married person who actually took the name of your spouse. And also, I did a whole video about how the SAVE Act is bullshit. So please check that out. And also, he said because Democrats are cheaters, as Ember just mentioned previously, he said out of his own fucking mouth over 4 times, we rigged the election in 2024 in order for us to win, because if we did not, we would not have won. But you know what? As a special treat, before we get out of here, I think it's important for us to play the State of the Union address without the lies. Are we ready?
Yes, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Fellow Americans, And God bless America. My fellow Americans.
That's
That's-
so wonderful.
That and to be honest with you, if that was all the State of the Union address, you would have got just as much substance out of it. Guys, thank you for joining me on this here recording that is going to be on the Roots Matter. I'm going to ask all of you to tell us where we can find you. Ember, I'm going to start with you first, darling.
Okay. I do so many things. It's ridiculous. I appear in a whole bunch of places. I am Ember here on the YouTubes at Better Than Ember, but I do a bunch of other stuff. Most notably, I suppose, is my daily show. Every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we do Deep Dives Daily, which is what it says on the tin. Deep Dives Daily. And we do it live. I am a crazy person. Come join us. It's awfully fun. But I do a whole bunch of other stuff, human rights advocacy, shows on other channels. Been doing some Skeptic Haven stuff lately. I've been guesting in a bunch of other places. I also advocate for, human rights generally, but LGBT rights specifically. And lately I've been making pride flags, mostly to piss off Trump, but also people seem to like them. Oh, shit. I'm going on too long.
I need more
but
spending money. I'm going to buy one.
There's no short way to put all this. I should have.
No, your pride facts are actually dope. I need to go ahead and get one next time.
They're really dope.
We make sure to have all the links that are available to be able to support Ember and her channel, and also to purchase pride flags. Pride flags. That is the word that I'm trying to say. So make sure you guys check that out. In Helen, tell us where you can be found.
Yes. So you can find me over on Freethinkers Fireside, and my slogan is I'm putting the human and humanist one cozy chat at a time. And basically I have guests in this wonderful community and adjacent come on my show, and we talk for an hour and a half about whatever the guest wants to talk about. And it doesn't always stay on topic. And but it's more about getting to know people as actual people rather than just their advocacy. And I also promoter of awesome human rights, because people are more important than beliefs, and everybody should take care of each other. So we're doing that. And also I'm trying to find a bridge between connecting with finding where I connect with people, even though on some things there may be like a disagreement, but where are we in line? And that is more on social justice, taking care of each other, and living in a pluralist society. So that is what so that's it. So I do things, and if you put my stupid face in, I'll show up on somebody's channel.
Thank you, Helen, for that. Her link is also going to be in the show notes below, so please make sure that you all subscribe to Helen's channel, Freethinkers Fireside. Appreciate that very much. Okay, Infidel, last but not least, the only reason why I put you last is because fuck that guy. So, yeah, Infidel. Where can you be found?
As you know, for most of the past year, I pretty much stayed off camera. After I left the nonprofits, I have showed up on AJ's channel a couple times. I would expect that to probably happen. I'm also, as you know, talking about on some of the off weeks, hosting actually here and bringing on guests. So that's something I'm looking to do. A lot of my time here recently has been, in the real world. I've been spending a lot of time starting a humanist group here in where I moved to it last April. And so if anybody's in Alamogordo, New Mexico or close enough, oterohumanist.org, we're starting up. We've been getting people together. It's been exciting. It's been something I've really enjoyed doing. Also, I'm easy to find. Every Saturday, I'm over at the corner of 10th and 10th and White Sands, doing our weekly protests, because, as I've heard, people talk about there's no reason to protest. There's nothing going to change. And, I saw something that I believe was a Methodist minister who protested in the Vietnam War was asked, do you really think you standing out here every night with a candle is going to change things? And he said, no, I don't think I'm going to change the government this way. I do this so the government doesn't change me. And that's one thing that I would encourage everybody where you are to get involved locally. Find a group, because online counts, but support on a local level, building those groups that build support, because you're not going to change things, but you can help and encourage each other, because things are very trying. And I'm not telling anyone anything they don't know, but things are going to get worse before they get better. So we need to find those groups in those situations to support ourselves. And one other thing I want to do is I want to shout out to the White Sands Unitarian Fellowship. I've been working with them with the humanist group that I've been developing, and they have been nothing but helpful. And I just want to say thanks for all the assistance you've helped with too.
Thank you, White Sands Unitarian Group. Appreciate you all very much. Now, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and give you some final things that you can yabba dabba do for us. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to The Roots Matter, hit the bell so that you can get notifications every time that a video is uploaded or we go live, usually every other Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And also make sure that you leave a comment, whether you all like what we say or not. Hey, listen, I read all the comments, including the ones who like to troll. You guys are my favorite, so keep on doing it. It helps the algorithm.
I love when they troll. I'm like, you're just helping boosting my algorithm. Thank you.
Yeah, like thank you so much that you decided to go ahead and leave your vicious bullshit on my page. I appreciate it so much. And also, guys, if you do like the content on this channel, and if you do like some of the things that we say, or even want to support the work, please go to www.patreon.com/CamGlemming and go ahead and subscribe. You can go ahead and become a patron for as little as $1, $2, $3 a month. As my grandmother used to say, she said, go get the money off of the table. I said, how much, Grandma? She said, $3. I said, tree? She said, 1, 2, 3. Gal, picking the can count? No. That's what she said. And I knew what she meant. So make sure you guys do that. And my dearest viewers who have come here to spend some time with us this evening, number one, next week we're going to have Volsey on the Roots Matter Live, so make sure that you guys check that out. He is a YouTuber, and also he is a TikToker who talks about atheism in the Black community, and also deconstruction. And he also talks about politics too. I said politics. I couldn't really get that out. Political, but political
stuff.
Political stuff. Political things. He talks about those things. So you guys are definitely going to want to check that out. So please make sure that you join us live. And also, as I like to say to everyone, please stay grounded. Stay aware, stay hydrated, and remember, at the end of the day, the roots matter. Take care, everybody. Bye.